MVS is what it is, right? We understand, what he can do well and what he, not do so well. But I'm not gonna shit on him either. I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, he's the one that lost the game to us. When we know blatantly that call at the end should have been pass interference. I mean, I don't know anybody who's not making that call. My nephew, who's a Packers fan, and I'm gonna tell him because he knows that was pass interference. Chad Dunn, it was pass interference. I know he ain't gonna say it because he's a Packers fan. I love him to death, but he couldn't wait to call me after the game was over. But
that was a bad call, bad no call.
It's a bad no call. It's a bad no call.
Answer me something real fast, JD, and this is something that's bothered me. Forget about the Chiefs. Obviously, I'm pissed off we didn't get that call and we lost the game. I've noticed it this year. They're letting defensive backs or just defenders, period, get there a lot earlier in contact before the ball gets there compared to previous years. Maybe it's just me, but I just feel like they're letting a little more like arm smack down before the ball gets there. Before, that was black and white. That was like, dude, you got to him before the ball came. Now it's like, well, it's so close, and I guess he kind of could have caught it. Like, there's too much thought process that goes on with these calls now. It's becoming way too subjective from call to call. Like, you get there early, you pull someone's arm down before the ball comes, pass interference.
I think a part of it has to do with they feel like the offense has an advantage now. It's an offensive team sport, if you will, right? And so I think they're trying to even up a little bit of the odds against the DBs by saying, okay, look, we're going to let you play a little bit, all right? As long as it's not something that's blatant, we're going to let you play. Don't get handsy. Make sure no hands up there to the face. If you're pulling on a guy, we see you like blatantly pull on the shoulder or jersey, then we got to call it. But if you're just kind of going in and you want to be a little physical, we're going to let y'all play, okay? We're going to let y'all play because obviously, they don't want the flop either. You got to watch over the flop rules. And I've seen a whole lot of flopping tonight with the defensive tackles with Green Bay. I don't know how many times these guys threw their hands up like they were getting held and they weren't getting held. And then when I'm seeing on the other side, Chris Jones and them guys blatantly getting, corralled around their neck, jerseys, no call whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I'm talking about home cooking, like to me, this was indicative of a home cooking field. Somebody giving a bag of money to the referees and saying, "Don't worry about it. You just make sure you make the right calls when we need it." And I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I'm being a little funny right now, a little facetious, but you need to understand what I've seen tonight over some of these calls. Completely ridiculous. Made no sense whatsoever.
I do want to talk about just sticking with MVS for a second. Obviously, everyone knows that's a DPI. But Teja kind of mentioned it. It was that one play in the game where it was the deep shot we took to MVS. And you could see Mahomes just throwing it to the numbers on the outside because he didn't want MVS crashing down because he kind of took his route inside. And it seems like these miscues as far as not being on the same page with MVS and Sky have been the kind of the main guys he's been on the same page with this year. And with that route specifically, JD, when you see that route, he takes it inside instead of stick it to the numbers and stay on the outside away from the defenders. What is that coming down to? Is that, I'm not trying to say MVS doesn't have an IQ here, but what's going on with that? I mean, like as a receiver, he should know, get away from the defense. Let's stick it to the outside. Let's take that route up and more so to the outside, where taking it back inside. I mean, I just feel like that's kind of common sense for a receiver. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, JD?
It's just miscommunication, guys not being on the same page, and where you would think now you would have it down and going out. I think maybe even MVS is almost not wanting to make a mistake. Like he almost don't even want to be put in that position, like make that play. I mean, it's sad to say, but I think sometimes he is kind of like, well, shoot, if I don't go out here and it looks like the ball's away from me, then it's just out of hands for me to even make a play on it, right? And so Pat's like, yo, I'm giving you a chance and opportunity to make something happen, and you don't do it. So I think it's what it is, man. I think he's reluctant to make a mistake. But even that him not doing that is a mistake in itself because he's not doing the right thing. So he can stay. So when I'm saying that, I'm saying he can stick with the call and he can say, hey, I did the right thing doing this. But Pat's like, yeah, but you can adjust to the outside to the ball. Like, I'm going to throw it out there. Why would I throw it over in the middle when you know that you got a deep safety coming over here? You got somebody covering you. Nobody's on the outside. Look, you don't got your real estate back, right? Which that's what you do as a wide receiver. Okay, you get your grass back. You try to get area back, and so he did that. Now go back outside, so now you can catch the football and just run up the sideline. Pat did it perfectly, throwing it out there to him, man. I just, but there was times, and we could talk about MVS, but the one that Sky Moore was overthrown. I think Pat he put a little bit too much on it. He just put a little bit too much on it. You could try to get a taller receiver out there, but the DB, they knew it. They were jokers. And look, they get paid too. We got to understand it. These guys get paid too. They knew as far as going into the game what you had to necessarily do. I don't think they was ready for Pacheco because they couldn't stop him in the run game. Couldn't stop him. So that was a strong suit. And I think we should have went with our strong suit, primarily in this game. And we did somewhat. We did. But, the times when we didn't able to go to the passing game, we went to the passing game. That part, myself, my friend, is coaching. I'm sorry. It is.
Yeah. I saw Barbershop had a good comment earlier. Chiefs don't play like we know that team is bringing their absolute top shelf game against us. It's like we don't know that. It's like we think we're just another team. Like we're not. You guys don't know that. You guys wear the rings. You have the commercials. What do you think? Why do you think that is? Because you won multiple times. So every time you step on the field, you're facing someone who wants to. Because here's the thing. Here's what. Honestly, I'm not a football player, but the season's defined by championship. Sure, only one team wins that though. Everything else, there's highs and lows with your season, and beating the Chiefs is a really, really high for every team in the league. That's something you can look back. That's why they said that cornerback, the kid was happy because he picked off Mahomes. That's like his crowning. That might be one of his crowning achievements as a professional athlete. Like, think about that. That's something he's going to have that ball in his mantle.
Oh, yeah.
Mahomes. Like, that's what you're up against. You're up against people trying to, like, brag for the rest of their lives they beat you.
Yeah.
And for you, it's a regular season game, apparently.
Right. It's glory to you. You sitting around at the fireside chat when you're 65 years old telling your kids and grandkids that you picked off Patrick Mahomes and beat him over that time. And I do agree with that. I think we got to understand that. Let's take 6th win of the season, right? This team shouldn't have beat us. Now, look, mind you, I do believe the Packers do have a good team. They have some young wide receivers that make – and look, we talked about this. We talked about this on the betting show. And I said, look, Christian Watson, they're going to go to this guy. Why? Because he's an athletic wide receiver. Dobbs, Reed, they got a myriad of wide receivers that can go get the football. They do. Not to mention, they got the hard hats in the back with Dylan, who's going to run the football hard, and so up-and-coming quarterback in Love. So nobody is chopped salami right now. The only one I can say that is probably New England. Them suckers look terrible. But when you sit over there and you playing the Packers up there in Lambeau with those type of guys up there, they're going to be feeding off the crowd. They're going to be feeding off doing things well. And so I'm going to say this too. I don't think because of, the injuries, obviously, the guys we have to endure, that cost us a little bit as well. That affected us. That affected us too. So there's a lot of different things, man, with this game. But championship teams, they persevere and fight through it, right? It's like when a guy goes out, it's like, hey, man, get down in there. And we don't have to worry about anything because we know you're going to do a great job. Okay? You know that. But we came up short, man. Came up short. And I said this. And eliminate penalties and eliminate turnovers. And we didn't do that. That's the thing that cost us. Penalties and turnovers cost us in this game. Okay? Yeah. And it's still like the Chiefs are beating themselves. And we get to a point, shoot ourselves in the foot. There it is. And that's what happens.
Yeah, one of our commenters here, Matt Foster, brings me a good point because you were talking about MVS, kind of being you weren't saying he's afraid of kind of making a mistake, but that that could be kind of playing a little bit there mentally. But as far as with that, MVS play with Roger. He played on a quarterback who expected a lot from his receivers before. So like having this also, like, I mean, if that's all at table to the fact that MVS might be scared of making a mistake, I mean, that's somebody I want his routes reduced, stats reduced significantly if that's what's happening right now. And did you catch at the end when he was after the no call and the PI? He was kind of like walking off the field all slowly and stuff, and like Chris Jones like, dude, like get off the field, man. Like you need to get off the field right now. We're about to call hike right now. I don't know. I feel like he's not there right now. He's not really like there in the game.
No, he was tired. That sucker ran 2 deep routes in a row.
Yeah,
he was spent. But I'm just like, okay, get somebody else in there. Bring Justin Watson in.
Yeah.
Dude, Richie James. Look, yeah, daggone Kadarius Toney. What the heck?
Who?
I know.
Who?
Yeah, yes, right. I didn't know he was playing. I'm like, where
Tony?
is he?
Tony.
Is he even on the team? I don't understand, man.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.